Good evening. I am Ansman Nyasi, and this is QTV News coming to you live from our studios on Caraba Avenue. Here are the main news headlines. Following the swearing-in of a new cabinet, some of the newly sworn-in ministers have pledged to meet the high expectations of Gambians and President Barrow, who appointed them. We hear public opinion on their expectations of the new cabinet members as the ministers take their new positions. The National Assembly Service is conducting a 3-day induction training for the newly elected National Assembly members to build their capacity on the execution of their functions. And the First Lady of the Gambia, Fatoumata Bah Barrow, on Wednesday visited the Gambia Senior Secondary School in Banjul to boost advocacy for vaccine take-up as the Ministry of Health rolled out another nationwide vaccination campaign. And in sports news, a former footballer who lost his sight after a brief illness has told Q Sports that although he cannot watch football, he is still connected to the beautiful game. Let's take you now to more these and other stories. Once again, thanks for joining us, and we now take a look at the news in detail. Now, some of the newly sworn-in cabinet ministers have pledged to meet the high expectations of Gambians and President Barrow, who appointed them. In an interview with QTV's Aliou Cissé, they outlined their determination to bring about positive change.
The appointment and subsequent swearing-in of the new cabinet on Tuesday came at a time when the country seeks strong and transparent leadership to steer the affairs of the country. Speaking to QTV shortly after taking their oaths, Hamad Nkeba, the Minister of Tourism and Culture, Dr. Ahmad Lamin Samate, the Minister of Health, Dr. Mamadou Tangara, the Minister of Foreign Affairs, International Cooperation and Gambians Abroad, and Claudia Cole, the Minister of Basic and Secondary Education, who are among the retained ministers from President Barrow's previous cabinet, said they are aware of the enormous tasks and expectations and spoke of their determination to serve in the interest of Gambians at their respective ministries. They outlined their plans to introduce policies and programs that will ensure stronger public institutions with a dedicated workforce.
Our primary responsibility now is to see how best we can work out plans and strategies to make sure that we have a very successful tourism winter season, which is coming in a few months from now.
We're going to strengthen what we've been doing, the construction work, the renovation work, the capacity building, the hospital improvement, the procurement of equipment, and the training of health workers and the improvement of service delivery to the people of this country.
And for us, the immediate things to do is to engage in restructuring our ministry to make it a more professional ministry, because all over the world, the foreign ministry will attract the best and brightest.
We have a lot of things to do, but of course in life, you know, everything should be prioritized. Now this technology in education is going to be my main focus among a lot of other priorities that I have.
At the inauguration, President Barrow made a strong statement about tackling corruption as he advocated honesty, warning that it won't be business as usual. C.D. Keita, the former Minister of Trade, now Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, Abdoulaye Diop, one-time Managing Director of NAWEC, now Minister of Petroleum and Energy, Sirif Abba Sanyang, former Governor of Central River Region, now Minister of Lands, Regional Integration and Religious Affairs, and Bakari Waibaji, Minister of Youth and Sports, thanked the President for the appointment and promised to deliver.
The immediate priority areas is to be able to manage the economy in such a way that the global challenges and the pandemic arising from COVID and the war in Ukraine, the shocks of that, they can be managed moderately for the economy.
We have to thank the President for identifying me for this position. So we just have to get up and start working with everybody to achieve the agenda that the President has set up.
And we are going to embark on very stringent reforms, and then land being the most precious asset for the Gambia, we're going to know and we're going to work out a treat it the most important aspect of our lives. And I am very much aware and cognizant of the fact that there are a lot of issues around it, but we will do our utmost best to make sure we satisfy the Gambian people as they require.
So the next action is to ensure that we develop our national sport policy. Of course, there was a sport policy, but it expired a few years ago. So we want to ensure that the new sport policy is in place. In addition, we have the plan to roll out the mandatory youth service. This is something that the National Youth Service Scheme has been talking about for a little while, but we still have not been able to start it. So this year, we want to ensure that the National Youth Service starts.
Some of the new ministers have already embarked on a tours of various departments and agencies under their ministries to gather first-hand information to better guide their policy decisions. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cissé.
Well, we're wishing them all the best of luck, as they take up their new positions. Now, following the swearing in of the appointed ministers, QTV's Jennifer Sonko went out to gauge public opinion on the new cabinet. Many Gambians say they expect cabinet members to put national interest first. Here's the report.
President Adama Barrow made new cabinet appointments, which had been much talked about, and created a new ministerial portfolio in charge of the public service, administrative reform, policy coordination and delivery. Now that a new cabinet has been constituted, what is the opinion of the public? For Mohamed Nasir, the new cabinet should execute their responsibilities with due diligence and concentrate more on the national interest.
The new cabinet ministers should always remember that they are doing their work for country and not for their pockets. They should always put national interest first for the Gambia to move forward.
Omar Diba welcomes the new cabinet and calls on the government to fast-track the enactment of the anti-corruption bill. During his swearing-in, President Barrow reassured the public of his government's willingness to tackle corruption.
Composition of the cabinet generally, to me, is good. Just that hopes are so high, and it has always been like that for a very long time. So we're very optimistic that the new cabinet would deliver to expectations, serve the Gambian people, and most importantly, solve the eminent problems of society through policy development, consultations, work efficiency, service improvement, among others.
Yankuba Sane welcomes the new cabinet and took us through the ministries he expects drastic changes from in terms of policies and coordination.
On the education side and also health, because in the education side we are really lagging behind. And when you also go to the health sector, I am a health professional, but if you go to the health sector, really is dilapidated right now. We really need a lot there.
Young people make up to 50% of the Gambian population and often require significant attention and resources to support them. Fatou Fall therefore calls on the Gambian government to offer young people more support in their different ventures, adding that they are ready to work and not lazy as many perceive. President Adama Barrow retained 9 of his cabinet ministers, 7 of whom kept their existing portfolios, 11 including the vice president were removed, and 3 changed portfolios. Going by public opinion, hopes are high that the new cabinet will deliver to expectations. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jennifer Sonko.
Now, the National Assembly Service is conducting a 3-day induction training for the newly elected National Assembly members to build their capacity on the execution of their functions. It is the first phase of training ahead of the resumption of the National Assembly's business. Mubulami Choi reports.
The business of any National Assembly or Parliament can be complex and technical in nature, and as with most professions, requires training to perform efficiently and effectively. The newly elected National Assembly members, most of whom are taking up their roles for the first time, are undergoing induction training on their legislative, oversight and representative functions. Mamadou Essise is the clerk of the National Assembly, through whose office this induction training is organized.
Honorable members, considering the complex nature of parliamentary terminologies and techniques and the significant percentage of new members, my office has decided to conduct this induction training in phases. The first phase will accord you the opportunity to understand the international workings of the National Assembly. The 3 broad divisions under my office, notably the legal and procedural matters, administration and finance, and the legislative business and programs, will offer hands-on information to honorable members to prepare them for their work in the National Assembly.
The National Assembly Service organizes this training with support from the United Nations Development Fund and other development partners. Aisata Day, the UNDP country representative, reminds the NAMs of their crucial role in shaping the Gambia's national development policies and laws to attain the sustainable development goals.
But attaining the global agenda requires also local actions in every country, with the National Assembly as a powerful agent for change. It is by ratifying international agreements, adopting laws that respond to the Gambia's development priorities and monitoring their implementation while keeping the government to account that the National Assembly drives that change.
The induction training will also include a familiarization tour and information session on parliamentary procedures and practices. Fabakary Tombong Jatta, the Speaker of the National Assembly, urges the NAMs to make the best use of the training to prepare themselves to perform the powers, functions and privileges legally vested in National Assembly members.
Please follow the program attentively, as we do not want any one of you to have issues with the rules of procedure or committee oversight activities. You will also have much more idea on our powers and privileges as National Assembly members. More importantly, we want all of you to play a very active role as representatives of the people. And this program will provide you with the necessary insight into how best you can do that as a representative of the people.
Coming out of this training, hopes are high for the current parliament to be the machinery of change for the country's much-needed development by effectively and efficiently discharging their mandate, something they will accomplish if they are versed in the various facets of their roles as set out in this and other induction sessions. Mahmoud Lamin Choi, QTV News.
And that report there by Mahmoud Lamin Choi will lead us to a short commercial break. But when we return, we have more local and sports news stories. Do stay tuned.
To make sure your company's products and services reach your potential customers, it is essential that you choose the right channel for your marketing purposes. QTV has the widest reach locally and beyond, and we can give your business the visibility it needs. Call QTV Marketing on +220 324 4444 or email us at marketing@qtv.gm and take your business to the world.
Tabaski ak Style 2022 loolu laa wax de man waaw kay boo gisee nag ñu di ko waajal depuis léegi dañoo bëgg nag yokku cere dolli ñeex li ko waral nag QTV dañu bëgg saa yu ñuy def dara képp ku ci nekk rek gis ci sa bopp moo waral nag this time ñu bëgg koo yokk nag yaatal ko nag géew bi nag dañu ko yaatal ba mu yaatu lool ba tax ñu ngi woo designers yépp ci biir réew mi waaye yow mi nekk sax bitim réew bëgg ñu wone nag say product jokkol ak QTV da ci am solo nag bu baax a baax ba tax nag ki nga xamante ne piis lay jaay ci marché bi bëgg naa wone ay piisam ak ay xeetu piis yi mu yor ñëwal ci biir Tabaski ak Style 2022 moom la ñuy waajal xanaa war naa neex dama ne nag kaay leen ngeen won ma seen mënin ma wax leen seeni cumbukaay ba tax nag jokkoo leen ak ñun ci nu mu gën a gaawee ci 32 44 444 ak QTV ak Tabaski ak Style yéen ñi rek ñu tax room yow rek ci jàng ma cey
Welcome back from that short commercial break. Be reminded you're watching QTV News and we're coming to you live from our studios on Caraba Avenue. I am Ansumana Sonyasi. Now, the First Lady of the Gambia, Fatoumata Barbaro, on Wednesday visited the Gambia Senior Secondary School in Banjul to boost advocacy for vaccine take-up as the Ministry of Health rolled out another nationwide vaccine campaign targeting those aged 12 and 40 above, rather. Alicia reports.
The visit to the Gambia High School here in Banjul by the First Lady of the country, Her Excellency Fatoumata Barbaro, is part of our efforts to ensure more Gambians are vaccinated. And the visit by the First Lady here has really inspired so many of the students here at Gambia High School, to take this vaccine. First Lady Fatoumata Bah Barrow arrived at the Gambia Senior Secondary School with a message of reassurance to the school children to embrace the reality of COVID-19 and take the vaccine for their safety. She assured the students that the vaccine is safe and effective.
Today I am here to encourage you all to be vaccinated. I am vaccinated and I've seen that in the world today, if you are not vaccinated, you cannot travel. No one knows what will happen tomorrow. You might be today in the school and you have a scholarship to go to another school outside the country. You cannot wait for the last time to go and be vaccinated. That's why prevention is better than cure. Let's do it now. Let's be vaccinated now because we don't know what is coming tomorrow.
Modu Njai, Director of Health Promotion at the Ministry of Health, describes the visit by the First Lady as a great boost to the vaccination campaign. He applauded her for always standing by the Ministry of Health.
Before she came to the school, a lot of children were speculating whether they would get the vaccination. But when she spoke and they sent out the message, you can see now most of them were eager to get vaccinated. So her message is very powerful and is very much appreciated by the Minister of Health. And we do hope that we will definitely want to continue. If we can have it, we want to have her every month when we are doing this campaign. And we want to do this campaign every month until December.
Students took the advantage of the opportunity presented to take the vaccine administered by health officials and Red Cross volunteers. Like many, Ibrahim Dumbuya, a graduate student at Gambia Senior School, said he was skeptical at the beginning, but the reassurances from the First Lady convinced him to take the jab. He urged other students across the country to do likewise.
So I will advise my colleagues, like whoever is sitting out there without taking the vaccine, you just go and take it.
It is hoped that the public will take advantage of this campaign to be vaccinated. The First Lady will embark on a similar visit to St. Augustine Senior School on Thursday. Reporting for QTV News, I am Aliou Cisse.
Now, in a bid to improve service delivery in the health sector, the Kanifing General Hospital on Tuesday inaugurated a new hospital management board in all 7 tertiary hospitals in the country. This story by Ajibintu Drame is narrated by Asma Uba.
The Kanifing Hospital is among the biggest in the Gambia with 540 staff. The new management board is expected to strategically ensure policies and measure performance that services are of appreciable quality and standards. Basiru Drame, CEO of the Kanifing General Hospital, congratulates the new board members, adding that the new members have an enormous task ahead, as the former executive left an impeccable footprint in the hospital. Drame urges the new board members to work towards the hospital interests and goals.
I just want to assure you of our support as a senior management of this hospital. The senior management is going to be there to support you and cooperate with you to ensure that you implement what you want to do. And again, to the senior management too, we are also very much happy that you supporting the management, especially co-management, in realizing their potential, because without you, there is nothing we can do. You are the ambassadors at the various units. You are the one who are there directly interacting with the staff. So without your support, honestly, we will not be where we are today.
With about 3 decades of experience in the health sector, Usman Damfa, the chairman of the new management board, says with the experience of the new board members, he is optimistic that they will deliver as expected and explain plans to improve the hospital.
My main target, and with my colleagues, board members, and also in collaboration, with the hospital management, so we will able, to do a lot, because during the course of the inauguration, so the hospital management, has come up briefly, with a lot of projects, which are in the pipeline, and these are some of the projects that, we are going to work in, so that at least, to improve, service delivery, in the hospital, and patient satisfaction, and also to build up confidence between the public and the hospital itself, because that is very, very important.
Part of Usman Damfa's plan is to focus on human resource and capacity building. He further explains the challenges faced by the hospital.
Well, the challenges of this hospital is just some resources, all right, and also human capacity. These are the main challenges of the hospital. But in terms of service delivery, what I saw, definitely it's satisfactory. It's just to improve, in certain areas, whereby we will have to look into it.
Fanta Baiseka, representing the Minister of Health, says the ministry will continue to give support to ensure best service is delivered to the public.
Maximum service delivery is expected, with maximum respect as well. Members of the community expect a lot from us, and we need to provide those services. Health insurance scheme is coming up. The authority is almost ready and about to move, and they will also be purchasing services from you.
The Kanifing General Hospital, also referred to as the Serekunda General Hospital, was officially inaugurated in 2014 and is among the busiest in the Gambia. The new board members are aware that much is expected from the improvement of the hospital and seem prepared for the task ahead. For QTV News, I am Asma Uba.
Well, we'll now take a look at some interesting sports news in a moment. Now, a former footballer who lost his sight after a brief illness has told Q Sports that although he cannot watch football, he is still connected to the beautiful game by listening to the commentary on TV or radio. Omar Pia Bojang was speaking to our sports reporter Moudi Gajaga.
Omar Pia Bojang, a Gambian residing in Germany, lost his sight following an illness. He told QTV that he still loves the game and follows it with passion. He recollects his early days as a footballer.
I just like to hear the commentary. Yes, I have a television there, so when there's football, I listen to it. But I have good time with a lot of people in football, like Jato Sise. Jato Sise, I know him when he was at LK. He was very small, very young, and I was also young, but I'm older than Jato Sise. At that time we have inter-schools sport. When the how this goes, school come to an end, we have a school competition, football. Latrikunda, Sukuta, Serkunda East, Serkunda West.
Some of the teams Omar played for include Blue Diamond, Nafa and Walidan. He says he played all positions in the game except goalkeeper. Omar recounts playing barefoot and without wearing a jersey.
My first place where I play is called Blue Diamond. Blue Diamond is from Jambakunda, and we have people who are playing like Clark Cham, he's now in England. And we have Pajame, it's called Bebe, it's also now in England. From Blue Diamond, we have a team that is called Nafa for a period of time that we were leading Sukuta for almost 5 years. We were winning all the trophies, the Knockout Cup, the League Cup, the Champion Cup. Almost 5 years we were leading Sukuta.
Years after quitting football, Bojang now runs a charity called Wipso Gambia, supporting the poor and underprivileged in the Gambia. Even though Omar can no longer play football, he still advocates for the development of the game by providing materials such as balls, jerseys and warmers to his native town, Sukuta.
Every year I send them very mighty cup, not a small, very mighty, very big ones. I always send them, and I send them jerseys, I send them football shoes. I send a lot of things that I even don't sell. I just give it to the youths. You know, and also, even still now there's a team, academy. Yeah, I even brought them jerseys. I brought last time almost 200 to 300 football balls.
Omar Pia Bojang did not reach great heights in football, but he lived a fulfilling life as a chef for years, cooking and serving meals to people before losing his sight. Omar's determination and philanthropism have inspired many who admire his benevolence. Instead of being demoralized by the loss of his sight, Omar instead has given hope to others that disability is not inability. Mumudu Gajaga, QTV News.
Quite inspiring, isn't it? Well, I'm afraid that's all about it for this bulletin, but before we take a leave of you, here's a recap for main headlines. Following the swearing in of a new cabinet, some of the newly sworn-in ministers have pledged to meet the high expectations of Gambians and President Barrow, who appointed them. And we had public opinion on the expectation from the new cabinet members as the ministers take their new positions. The National Assembly Service is conducting a 3-day induction training for the newly elected National Assembly members to build their capacity on the execution of their functions. The First Lady of the Gambia, Fatimata Barrow, on Wednesday visited the Gambia Senior Secondary School in Banjul to boost advocacy for vaccine take-up as the Ministry of Health rolled out another nationwide vaccination campaign. And in sports news, a former footballer who lost his sight after a brief illness has told Q Sports that although he cannot watch football, he is still connected to the beautiful game. Well, that's it for this bulletin. Do join us at 10 p.m. for more news. Until then, on behalf of the entire production team, thanks for watching.